We must stop the terror. Now watch this drive.
Why are you gay? You are gay.
Welcome to another episode of the Uncle Hack Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, good to be here. Glad you're here as well. February 7th in Hamilton, one night only. We'll get into what's going on there right away. February 15th, Edmonton, Alberta. February 16th, Las Vegas, Nevada. February 23rd in Calgary, Alberta. March 7th in Cornwall. March 8th in Ottawa. March 22nd in Brooks, Alberta. March 28th in Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan. March 29th in Swift Current. Oh, I can't believe how fast the tickets are going in Swift Current. April 4th, Drayton Valley. April 11th, Maylag, Alberta. April 12th in Lloydminster. April 25th and 26th, St. John's, New Brunswick, or St. John. Very sensitive of the city name out there. St. John, New Brunswick. April 27th in Fredericton, New Brunswick. May 9th in Hanna, Alberta. May 10th in Medicine Hat, Alberta. Tickets available at dangercatshop.com. Also, head on over patreon.com/dangercat69 for extra episodes of the podcast. Merch also available at dangercatshop.com. What is going on? Knock it off. We got a big show ahead of us. Anyways, first off, let's get into it. CBC. Not enough happening in Canada right now that the CBC is very interested in us coming out to Hamilton. CBC Hamilton has been reaching out constantly looking for an answer from me. Why? How do you feel about the shows being canceled? They're antagonizing me and trying to get me to respond to their nonsense right now. I'm fixing a mic as I'm trying to become an asshole, and it's not quite working out so well for me right now. But yes, CBC has been relentlessly harassing Levity Live Comedy Club in Hamilton, and as well harassing the booker there. Oh my word, just to get the answer of why they canceled the show. Where are they going? How did they get the new booking? All this. It's like having a nosy neighbor. It's a nosy neighbor. What are these guys up to? And rumor has it, we've got drama on this show, that there was a comedian behind all of this. What is going on in the Hamilton comedy scene? We're going to have to do a deep dive. The Tribunal of Crimes Against Laughter is going to be investigating this. We cannot go any more public with any more information regarding this case, because we got to make sure that we're correct before we come forward. You know, we can't make false claims like the news does with all these like names and slander and libel. We got to make sure that our stories are straight before we come forward and start putting people on blast. And some people, not good. But yes, the show has been moved to End Zone Bar and Grill, and I tell you, it's rewarding that we are still going to. I don't know what's going on there. That we are still going to Hamilton for a show. That we will be coming to Hamilton, Ontario. You know, I know a lot of you are probably looking at my my rise in stand-up comedy and thinking to yourselves, boy, oh boy, you know, why does he do it? Why? You know, is it because, why does he keep going through all this? Is it because of all these like fabulous cities that he gets to visit and all these small towns, you know, like Hollywood's looking at my tour schedule and thinking, how the hell did this guy land a gig in Maylag, Alberta? Most people got to go to an Apple Maps to figure out where that is. Most people, Hollywood's looking at that and they're thinking to themselves, this guy's really doing it. This guy's really taking off. He's playing towns where like the whole town is at the show. How does he do it? And quite honestly, I ask the same question. How? No one knows. Why? It's probably a combination between CTE and vaccinations over the years. The V word. But yes, the journalists. Ooh, the journalists are around the corner. They're trying to sniff this out. It's a big case. They got to crack it. And they've been relentlessly harassing venues, bookers, anyone surrounding this venture, this show. They are on it. They need the big story, you know. You know what I like about Hamilton? The morals there. I like that Hamilton will take something like a comedy show very serious and disregard murder, homelessness, and drug addiction. I like that. I do. That shows character, right? It shows character to step over top of a homeless woman or man or they or them. We're very inclusive on this show now that it's becoming like this swing in politics where it's going more conservative, more people. I have to go the other way. I have to. It was unpopular when I started to be vocal about the things I was in the beginning when I was doing the YouTube shit and not really understanding what it is I'm creating, but it's something. And now that thing that I've created is kind of, it's a resemblance of the past in a way of like 90s, the subculture that was out, that was the outcasts of and outliers of society, right? It was skateboarding in the 90s. It was, you know, that feeling of being, I don't know if any of you skateboarded or you know, but there was this excitement of going and skating a set of stairs that had a no skateboarding sign on it and arguing with mall security. And like, it was just the optics of skating back then was like, these guys are punks and they're bad people because they played with a toy as a teenager, right? These were bad people. Skateboarders. They're like the snowboarders of the 80s. So it was fun. And now I have to. Unfortunately, I have to. Because now it would look gay if I'm being like, ha, na 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 boo boo to everybody else. I gotta be the guy. You gotta be a shit disturber. It's fun now to be gay again, right? It's too fun to be gay. You gotta be more than that. You gotta be on the side that's hate. If you see me at a Palestine protest, you know what I'm doing. If you see me transitioning over the next 3 to 4 years, you see Hack with a fresh set of tits and a cock extension, things are going well. That's what I'm saying, folks. That's what I'm saying. If I have a hog swinging past my knee and tits bigger than that shop teacher out in Oakville, things are going real nice. That's what I'm gunning for. That's what I'm gunning for. To be a nuisance. You know, that's the fun part in life. Will I grow up? Probably not. Why do you think I'm doing this? Do you think that this is enjoyable? Do you think I enjoy putting all this shit up? Do you think I enjoy decorating the wall for you guys? You know, do you think I like setting up the podcast equipment every week? Of course I do. Because they keep clipping it and putting it on the news as if like there was one. Let's bring this article up and go through it. There was one piece in it that I couldn't stop laughing about. Oh, where'd you go? Come back here. Get out of here. Go away. All right. The headline reads. I went over a little bit on it, and actually I think your boy had a puff off the pen, and then started riffing off of this a little bit for the last Patreon episode. But the headline reads, as comedy troupe known for racist jokes set for Hamilton venues urged to consider how harmful ideas spread. Danger Cats have 2 upcoming shows, but no, there's one specific right here. Okay. In his podcast, Danger Cats member Uncle Hack has also excused attacks on politicians because of their choices related to the COVID-19 lockdowns and vaccines. Saying he's not violent, but it may also be their time, in quotations, to pay the piper. Imagine sitting there having to write this shit. Yeah, they're getting paid. You're welcome. I'll take my check in the mail. His social media posts target numerous marginalized groups and refer to Danger Cat shows as desensitivity training. That's what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. Oh my God. I can't. It just it doesn't make any sense to me sometimes. The folks that want to sit down and grandstand how great they are by coming at a moron. First off, the moment that you have to write Danger Cats member Uncle Hack, that's where you got to just like Control Alt Delete the whole article. In my mind, that's where you have to look at this and be like, what the fuck am I doing? What am I writing about? The Thundercats? What is this, a cartoon? Who are these guys and why am I writing this story? You know, I went to journalism school and I have to write about a bunch of goofballs that are making they're making silly jokes and they're trying to equate deeper in the article. It gets a little, this Caitlin Craven in this article is quite funny. Craven said comics who punch down on marginalized groups often claim free speech as an excuse or suggest it offended people who need to lighten up because they are just making jokes. Thank you. At least you understand. It is just jokes. Such jokes can normalize bigoted beliefs, she added, suggesting venues need to consider the role they play in the process. Okay, put an act together. Show us how it's done. Simple as that. That's why I invited this woman to come and perform her 5 minutes of stand-up comedy so we know we can educate ourselves. You know, I learn from like a visual representation, right? I'm not much of a book learner. If I was, I wouldn't be resorting to antics on the internet to sell tickets to a comedy show. I probably would have done something much more valuable with my time and, put that into maybe studies. Maybe, just maybe, if the debauchery in life didn't excite me as much, I probably would be a very, very structured and a contributing member to society. But instead, I enjoy having a box of matches in my hand with a hypothetical can of gasoline and watching it all crumble. There is something enjoyable about being a nuisance, being a menace, isn't there? You know, it's like grade school. It is. It's grade school tomfoolery of how it just I can't wrap my mind around being angry at television shows or entertainment and allowing it to consume myself and my emotions, to have outrage towards it. Now, I understand, like, there's some things that I just tweet. You know, I get people who just pass by and be like, you're gay. That's one, I get that. I do that. I'm no better than them. They're no better than me. Just doing a flyby in a comment section, you're gay. But then to, like, sit down, do an interview and put all this energy and effort into it. But here's the thing, is what I find interesting is those that do run to the news seem to be a part of these non-for-profit organizations. That's what I'm just, hey, don't shoot me, okay? Don't shoot me. But a lot of these folks, I think, see an opportunity where there's cash to be made. You know, I'd like to know, unfortunately, the wages on the Hamilton Center for Civic Inclusion on where it's all being doled out. Now we're talking about the executive director, so I'd imagine she's making a pretty penny off this, a pretty penny. And we went through this a little bit on the Patreon. Now their programs. Where is About Us annual reports? So we are looking at 20. So in 2023, 2024, their report of get to the money. Where's the money? Our finances. That's what we want to take a little boo at, right? We want to see where is the money going. So in wages and benefits, year end March 31st. So we're looking at wages and so the wages for 2024 were $600,000. And the year prior in 2023, $520,000 were doled out in wages. Isn't that interesting? Now, we're looking at a team of, we have a board of directors, and we have, where are we? There is, we have 8, 9, 10 people. Now, we can't sit here and speculate who's being paid what. But I'd imagine there is some financial incentive to be a part of something like this. There might be just a little bit of money to be made being outraged. That's what I just find interesting with a lot of this is those that are running to the news are always associated with a non-for-profit. So does that mean that they're using this as an opportunity to get their organization in front of eyeballs, or could they possibly be this outraged? Now, they're associating me by saying part of the bigger issue is that we definitely see a lot of alt-right and white supremacist ideas couched in the language of it just being a joke, she says. Of course, it's not just a joke, but it's reinforcing this consensus that it's okay to punch down on women, on indigenous people, racialized folks, disabled people, newcomers, and migrants. It's so important to understand how that dehumanization works to lay the groundwork for public policies that are so harmful. Now, this is where it starts to get dangerous. So now you're advocating for almost censorship. And for those coming to the show in Hamilton, we have a special treat for you. You know what? I'm a nice guy. I am a nice guy, right? Thank you. I'm a wonderful guy. I got a special treat for those coming out to the show in Hamilton. You're not going to believe it. Golden ticket winner on Kill Tony, Jared Nathan, will be popping in to do a spot. Isn't that lovely? Isn't that nice? So now what you guys are doing is trying to stop a disabled person from doing stand-up comedy. How evil are you? How evil are you? You're trying to stop. That seems more dangerous because maybe this is, this could be what he needs on a Friday night to get out of the house. We don't know that. We can't speak on Jared Nathan's behalf now, can we? But CBC Hamilton spoke to several stand-up comedians and concerned community members who said they were not comfortable speaking out about the shows. Ooh. So there's some snakes in the grass. Isn't that wonderful? And I think I got my hands around one. They keep poking their heads out. But wait, we can only discuss this so much because this is big news. This is big news. This is a big story. You need to be fully engaged in this, okay? Three comedians from Alberta are coming out to Ontario, Hamilton to be specific, right? And they're going to come and they wanted to do some jokes. But now it's a big issue because this is couched in language that it's not just a joke, and that it's reinforcing the consensus that it's okay to punch down on women, Indigenous people, racialized folks, disabled people, newcomers, and migrants. You're forgetting one. We're very inclusive, okay? I'm very, very inclusive. And I would never do this, okay? Other people might. Me? No, not me. But you forgot to mention gay people in there. I'm just saying, gay people, trans people. There's a lot of people that you did not include. That is deeply disheartening to read that. Hurts my feelings. Hurts my feelings that you're not including everybody in this. It really tears me apart to know that even the most inclusive people aren't inclusive. Why would you do that? Why would you do that to somebody? Why would you leave somebody out? Are they not worthy of being spoken highly about? Is it okay to punch down on them? Is that what you're saying? Because you're missing some groups here. And I'm taking this as like, okay, so is it okay to punch down on them? Why them? Why are they okay? This is we gotta move on. We gotta move on. I'm gonna get upset, but thankfully other news is happening because I don't know what I would be doing right now. There's a tariff war. I don't even know what the fuck a tariff is. If I'm being honest, I'm gonna just sit here and act like I'm a political science major. I'm not about to sit here and be like, well, this is what needs to happen is Alberta needs to separate and fucking Ontario just needs to quit being gay. Quebec needs to fucking also stop being gay. It's that we gotta fucking buckle up and go to war. Enough. You know, like I just want to view it all, make fun of it, and move on with my fucking day. But you can't do that. You can't. Who are we kidding? Who are we kidding? On this show? On this show. Unbelievable. Everybody's got their opinion right now. Everybody's got an opinion. You know, now 30 days, we're going to hold off on the tariffs. We were a little like hot on the gun. We stripped all the American products off the liquor shelves, which is probably, you know, the Canadian government is probably like worried about that, you know, because like imagine being such a piss tank country that the only way you can clap back is being like, yeah, well, we're not going to drink your liquor anymore. And the Canadian government's got to be a little worried about that. No, you'd think like a few premiers, the prime minister and all the sitting MPs would be a little worried that the country might sober up. You'd think, no? You'd think that you would be a little bit worried that the country might sober up and realize how hard they're getting fucked. Is that what you want? This is the most they've done for addictions. How long are we talking here? Vancouver, they're handing out crack pipes, but you can't get a bottle of Jack Daniels. You can get some Chinese fentanyl, but American booze? Nah. What are we doing? What are we doing? We look like idiots, you know, and then everybody's like, yeah, well, if they want war, let's have a fucking war. It's like the fat idiots that are slapping their jowls around online. I do appreciate the Canadian patriotism is like on the rise again, but it's all for the wrong reasons. Where were you guys like 4 or 5 years ago? You know, where was that? You slandered people who were out in the streets with Canadian flags who just wanted to be left the fuck alone. You called them racist, bigots, transphobes, nothing to do with anything what they were protesting. There was 4 guys who sat in jail for how long that were standing up and being like they were against government tyranny. And you were like, good, I hope they're in jail. And now all of a sudden you've turned coat on everything that you stood for then and are being like, yeah, well, you guys aren't patriotic. It's like, fucking, what the hell are we doing here? Where were you guys? Where? That's all I ask is where? Why all of a sudden the change of heart? Is it because the Americans are coming at us? But meanwhile, you'll turn on your own? You won't even listen to the folks that were in the streets. No politicians came out and talked with these guys just to hear them out, you know? And then you're cheering on crowds of people who are waving a different flag of a different country, screaming death to Canada. You were silent on that. And because Because the orange man's putting tariffs in. Now all of a sudden it's like, yeah, we're Canadian. Enough with it. Don't give me the fake bullshit. Just be honest with yourselves. That's all I ask. Don't say, don't cloak yourself in the Canadian flag and be like, yeah, I'm fucking patriotic now all of a sudden. Because an American tariff is coming down the pipeline. And you need something to outrage about. The convoy's over. You can't scream and yell about that. It gets old news, you know. And what's his nuts there? Pat King was on trial. There were some folks that were celebrating his demise, watching him go through what he did. And like, it's sad to watch. It is sad to watch someone go through something like that. And especially watching people celebrate it. You know, especially watching folks celebrate that was difficult as a Canadian. You know, it is not. We're like overzealous and we're jealous housewives. That's what we are. We're keeping up with the Joneses type family with a wife that has a champagne taste on a beer's wage. That's what we are. We're a fucking suburban family who thinks they should be in the Hollywood Hills. I got family members like that they get like a knockoff Louis Vuitton purse and they start like, you know, they put a little hip when they walk in through the door so that way the bag goes first. You know, oh yeah, no, it's a new bag. It's a new Louis. It's like, listen, I've watched you take Percocet before the sun has come up. All right. We're no better than anybody else. It's a knockoff purse. You're not convincing. The V is upside down. What are you talking about? The V on your bag is upside down. Your eyes are rolling in the back of your head as you're trying to tell me that you have a designer purse, which, you know, quite honestly, you just need pockets to carry around your pills. And the only bag beside that bag, this fake designer bag that I see you walking around with, is a brown paper bag with a bottle of cheap vodka in it. And then all of a sudden now we're like, we're talking about fucking, you want martinis? We're at a family dinner. Have a vodka cranberry like the rest of us. Crack open a beer. You're drinking beer. Old Milwaukee to boot. Enough with it. That's this country. Is we're looking over what's the neighbor up to? Why is he looking? What's the flag the neighbor has up? He's putting up I'll put up a fucking flag. I'll put up a bigger flag. Oh, what's he talking about now? Oh, the neighbor. It's too many idiots. Too many idiots. Idiots like myself, too. Like nobody in their right mind should ever take anything that I say on this show serious. Nobody whatsoever. You're only here to feel better about yourself. That's why you're here. You're here for a cheap laugh and to feel better about yourself. If things are going even remotely good in your life, you can look at me and be like, thank God that I don't have to wake up and see my name in the CBC being called a racist. That's a good feeling, isn't it? That's why you're here. That's the exchange. Sorry, that's funny to me. That's funny to me. You know what I mean? Like, you get to look at this guy and be like, oh, like, Jesus Christ, everywhere this fucking guy goes, he's got to go. Like I said, he's doing stand-up shows in May Lake, Alberta. It makes no sense. You know? And to go from Las Vegas to fucking Brooks, Alberta. You scratch your head and you be like, what is this? This makes no sense. And I have to agree with you because it doesn't. The nation, I shouldn't say the nation. Anybody in some fucking position of power, even in like the smallest, slightest position of power, uses they're calling us a comedy troupe. What are we going down? We an improv group now? Is that what we're doing? You want me to dress up like a kitty cat, put little whiskers on my cheeks and come out and do fucking like, we're going to reenact the Aristocrats, but it's going to be a little more darker. One of us does heroin. The other one knocked up his sister. And the third one is on trial for sexual assault. That's that. And we're going to do an improv about that. The Aristocrats and how we all managed to make it go worse. Total opposite of a Disney ending. One guy ends up in prison for life. The other one has to take care of like this bastard child that he had, both people got a little drunked up and it was a threesome gone wrong. And then the other one overdoses in the fucking cold streets of Red Deer because we can't have it being a glorious. You can't overdose in Vancouver. It makes too much sense. You got to do it in somewhere where it'd just be like, God damn, if you're gonna die on heroin of all places, and it's Red Deer. Who shoots heroin in Red Deer? Smoke meth like a local. You know what I mean? Who's shooting heroin in Red? Do they even get heroin out there? Can you imagine like going to a drug dealer and asking for heroin in fucking Red Deer, Alberta? You imagine that? The center, the asshole of Alberta. And you're walking around town because unless you got a stolen car that day to keep you warm, but you're perusing the town looking for a bag of smack to shovel into a vein. Imagine that. And that's what we do on stage now because we're a comedy troupe. Comedy troupe, but we got bigger issues right now. We gotta get the fentanyl. This fentanyl czar thing. When this is how stupid I am. I initially thought like we were gonna hire somebody to like make sure the coke was clean. Like we were gonna have somebody that ensure that the coke coming into the country was clean. But I didn't realize that it was a position that somebody's gonna be stopping the fentanyl getting into the States. I didn't realize that. I thought we were going to be cleaning up our own drugs here so we can have a good time and not worry so much. You know what I mean? You don't have to buy a bag of nose rockets out in Swift Current, Saskatchewan, wondering if it's got a hot batch in her. Am I going to drop dead? Again, rolling the dice. Rolling the dice in a small town. Not only are you... imagine that. You get a bag of Coke that's cut with drywall, and it's got fentanyl in it. Oh, my God. That's what I thought the fentanyl czar was. I thought it was going to be somebody stepping in and making sure, like, any bag of Coke that's coming in here, no fentanyl in it. We can't have our people all fucked up. We want them working. We got to make sure the drugs are clean so that way the boys up north aren't dropping dead. We need as many people putting pipe in the ground because I don't think our oil's going south. That's what I thought. I thought the fentanyl czar was just going to make sure that everybody in Fort McMurray was able to make it to work the next day. That's all. That's all. Apparently I'm wrong. Apparently it's a totally different position than what I thought in the beginning. But it's good to see that even with the gloomy future of the nation due to the trade war, that some cities are being proactive, especially the city that I reside in right now, Edmonton, Alberta, is lowering fines on drug use, spitting, and loitering. It's almost like they can see the future in front of our eyes. Jobs are going to they're going away. The tariffs are coming. No more jobs in Canada. We're not going to be producing anything. We're all going to starve to death on the streets. But thank God they're going to lower the fines of you being able to camp outside of a 7-Eleven on the north side. That's exactly why I like this city. They see the future that's coming. The 25% tariff, it's going to It's going to decimate us. There's going to be job cuts. I seen somewhere like upwards of 600,000 jobs could go down the shitter out in Ontario. So, I mean, what's going to happen in Alberta? A 10% tariff on the oil and natural resources that we pump out of the fucking ground heading down to America. What is it, like 67? I think, no, it's more than that. 80 to 90% of our oil heads south. And then everybody's scratching their heads like, well, what the fuck, man? We've been begging for pipelines across to like put it to ports so that way we could ship it across the world. But then we have like Quebec, hey, Tabernacle, why would we want to do that, huh? You know, and all these idiots are just scratching their heads wondering, how did we get here? Your bad policies. And then now, all of a sudden, they're trying to instill patriotism in you by this fake outrage. It's fake and gay, this outrage. We have a bunch of fat libs, just fat people fat people. We have fat people taking stances on TikTok, making TikToks about throwing cans of soup in the trenches again. That's what we have. That's our defense system right now. Not very effective. But I know, like, a lot of people have been questioning the military and how many troops we have in the reserves, the Canadian Armed Forces. Are we prepared to go to war with America? No. But thankfully, if you put me in charge, make me the fentanyl czar, and let me call a couple shots with the military, I got the perfect idea. You're going to love it, okay? You know, for years and years and years, we've been importing, truck drivers. Let's call them truck drivers. I think when I say that, you know what I'm saying. We have an exorbitant amount of new truck drivers on the roads. It's wintertime right now. Call the war. Put them all in trucks immediately. Put them all in trucks. You will not cross the border. There will not be a single entry point. You want to make this a ground war? Good luck. We got fucking thousands of Indian guys in Mack trucks. Tell me anything scarier. You can't. The roads in Canada right now, you're white. You're not even worried about how icy the road is. You're just like, your head is on a swivel. It's a 360 swivel. And the moment that you see like an 18-wheeler's headlights coming up behind you, you start getting your asshole puckers, right? Like the rest of us, your asshole puckers a little bit, because every day on the news, there's a truck that just blows up a family of 9. Every day, there's a new, like fucking, I drove to Coquihalla not too long ago. It was like it was a fucking Kenworth graveyard. That's what it was. So, America, buckle up. We have one of the greatest defense systems on the planet. Build your little Iron Dome. I know what you think. I know they're talking about this Iron Dome. Trump wants an Iron Dome. Have your little Iron Dome. We got Indian guys in Kenworths. Try me, motherfucker. Try me. All of them. All of them are getting their visas renewed and a trucking license the moment that you say game on. And as soon as you say it's puck drop, game on. Good luck, I tell you. We won't even fire a single round and we will decimate the United States military just through Indian truck drivers. That's it. You'll be wondering, you'll be out in a field trying to make ground. You're going to try and take the high ground, and all of a sudden, just up a fucking coulee comes this Mack truck and rolled. You're like, how the hell did he even make this happen? We don't even know, okay? We don't even know. We've watched him wedge them things under bridges. We've watched the one guy, he was driving downtown Toronto with the dump truck up, knocking out the whole rail system. Like, we've seen it all here. We've seen it all. They'll wipe out your whole grid. And if, in fact, you know what? We're going to send them into America. We're going to send them into America. No chains on the tires either. They're going to cold states. And they're fucking up your roads. And best believe, you think Arab guys flying planes was scary? Wait till you see some Indian dudes behind an 18-wheeler. Yeah, the September 11th will look like fucking Fox and the Hound or a Cinderella story. It has a happy ending. So bring it on. And I wonder why I get in trouble. That fun little riff right there. It's a fun little riff. It's a fun little thing. It's being inclusive. I'm saying that that you're part of the Canadian Armed Forces now. And we're arming you with a vehicle that you should not be operating. And we're sending you to the front lines. Enjoy yourselves out there. You'll die a martyr for the Maple Leaf. You know, we'll put statues of you all across, you know, we'll have like our own little like Flanders field for you. It would be a Sing Garden or something like that. We'll rename the fucking what is it? The Maple Leaf Garden will be like, we'll rename it, and there'll be one guy that just somehow like all those legendary tales from World War II where it's like some French Canadian sniper took out like 80 Nazis, right? And they were feared for him. And there's going to be one truck driver that's going to come through, and somehow he's just the Rambo of them all, you know? He's just fucking, all of a sudden he's in the truck. He's going down the road. He's like Spider-Man's out the window. I know I'm like, it's a Forte joke, but like the lasso throwing the turban and all that. And like he does that on a flagpole, swings another truck. Gets that one going. And all these guys are just stoked whenever he shows up. There was like that Rambo. I think he was like the Rambo of Iraq. And like that guy just loved war. He's big and jacked and just would run to the front lines. And then all of a sudden, like all these Iraqis would get like charged up. They'd see him and be like, all right, let's fucking go. We need one of those guys here. Then the Americans, they don't know what to do, right? They won't know what to do. Ay, ay, ay. But like I said, Edmonton is ahead of the curve. We are. We're ahead of the curve. We can see the financial damage that this is about that is about to be caused in the nation, and they are ahead of the curve. Let's get into it. Let's have some fun.
People should be fined if they're doing drugs in the open, loitering around transit.
Start that.
How much do you think people should be fined if they're doing drugs in the open, loitering around transit, littering, and even spitting? Well, the City of Edmonton plans to lower the current fine amount on some of these offenses.
That's
right
great.
Now, if you're living in a tent or a shelter, panhandling on the street, or doing drugs in public, you could get a $250 fine.
Oh, boy.
The city suggests lowering this to $25.
That's great.
It's nice to see that fines have been reduced.
Yes.
Taking into account who we are asking to pay some of these fines. Sometimes people have nowhere to go except to be outside. And so whose safety and whose comfort are we talking about? And there is a difference between safety and comfort.
The city has been revising the bylaw for more than a year. City council...
A year to come up with that. A year for the bureaucrats to sit down and come up with that grand old idea that, you know what, some of these people are kind of going through a hard time. Maybe we shouldn't make it so hard. We shouldn't make it harder. Who would have thought? And now they can see like, okay, well, the fines, you know, we're reducing it. And like now we'll put it through. Now these tariffs are coming in, and we're probably going to look at more homeless people. So like if we reduce it, that means we can charge more people, because I think that more people are going to be homeless and camping on the streets, and we can hit them with more fines. So it's like one of those like quantity over quality type deals, you know? If we hit everybody with a $25 fine, then they're more than likely to pay it. This can be a nice little revenue stream, so that way we can get through these 4 years of Trump and prop up the city. Meanwhile, you know, banks will be seizing property and trucks, vehicles, fucking you name it. You know, the classic oil field guy that's bought everything under the planet and financed it to the gills. The repo man. If now is the time to get a job and repossession of property. Now's the time. I'm calling it now. Now's the time. Quit your day job, whatever you're doing. If you feel like the tariffs could possibly be a reason that your job is going to go bye-bye, I suggest you get a job in repossession. I might have to. How many people, you know, They're charging people less than a Danger Cat ticket right now. Danger Cat tickets are $29. They're charging. You can do drugs in public and fucking get charged for spitting, loitering, drug use, open drug use. You can camp on the street for less. What are they trying to do? Undercut my business? Who are these people? They're looking to be like, wow, maybe when at the time that they were making the decision, we made a little bit of a decision this year. We do fucking, we got to change with times. I'm sorry. $29 to come see a fucking Danger Cat. $29.69, if I'm being honest, is not a bad deal to come see a goddamn Danger Cat show. Not a bad deal. Not a bad deal. Right? $30? I can name 1,000 things that $30 could not buy you. That was an easy one. But thankfully, the bureaucrats all gathered around their table, and did this. Where is there was something very oops. There's this was quite funny. I want to make sure that they don't say yes. Oh, even better. I can play it through. I encourage people to go and do good things when you see somebody struggling, give somebody a hand. And then I don't want to fucking, I talked about it a little bit on the Patreon. I know I'm kind of regurgitating for those that have already listened to the Patreon episode, blah, 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 blah. But I do encourage those that, I don't think I have to really hammer this home for a lot of people that listen to this podcast. I believe that a lot of folks that do listen to this one are good old boys that just you do good, but say bad. You know what I mean? You do good things, but just say horrible shit because it's amusing to you. But your character shines through your actions, not so much your words. And that's what I appreciate about this audience is that when people do come out and you see us tearing down our equipment, the first thing that 9 people ask, hey, need a hand? The moment that any of the DC fans, the liquor lizards out there start seeing people doing shit, they want to join in. It's just natural. I get it because it's that blue collar mentality. You see work, you join in. You got to just work. That's it. You're wired like that. I get that because I'm from that. I've been around it my whole life. You don't stand around with your thumb up your ass. You're not a union guy. You're not a fucking city worker, right? You're not one of those guys. You're better than that. You work hard. Even though you hate working hard and you want to bitch about working hard, you still work hard because it's just instilled in your brain. That's what you were taught when you were young and told over and over. If you work hard, you can fucking get whatever you want in life. And then that idea dissolved, that whole narrative dissolved. But what I'm trying to get at is I was watching a fucking elder woman struggle to get up a set of stairs, and it was really it was irritating me. First off, that. This woman has to go through this, right? That part irritated me. And it's you got to go, I'm not about to watch some old woman fall down a flight of stairs. It's icy out. It's minus 27 in Edmonton right now. So I get out, go give her a hand. And I gave her my phone number and she left me a very funny voicemail that I missed the other day. I missed her call. I gave her my phone number and she left this and I fucking can't stop laughing about it. Let's see. I hope it plays through.
Hi, Brandon. It's Gladys calling. I'm calling to thank you for all the help you gave me yesterday. And I was wondering if you're not, if you're not too busy later, if you can call me back. If you're going to Freshco, if you could just pick me up a bag of chips. Please do call me back later. Thank you. Bye-bye.
What an angel. If you could pick me up a bag of chips. That's the greatest. That's the greatest. Poor old bird. That's the greatest voicemail I've ever heard in my life. I told her, she's like, well, come over for coffee sometime. So I gave her my phone number. And now she gives me a ring just to ask if I can pick her up. Like, keep in mind, she lives on the other end of the city from me. And can you pick me up a bag of chips? I don't know why that's so funny, but just thought to herself. I could just imagine, older people, right? You can tell anybody named Gladys is probably not under 50. Just to sit there and be like, I got a hankering for some salt and vin right now. I wonder if that asshole's coming out this way. You mind swinging by Freshco for me and picking up a bag of chips? Legendary. Oh my goodness. Oh, geez, Louise. It is too good to be true. That's what I mean. See? Some fun came out of that. Just by being nice, by being kind. We all get to share a laugh over it. Let's listen to it one more time because I can't. It's too good to be true.
Hi, Brandon. It's Gladys calling. I'm calling to thank you for all the help you gave me yesterday. And I was wondering if you're not
You're a little sleepy.
If you're not too busy later, if you can call me back. If you're going to Freshco, if you could just pick me up a bag of chips. Please do call me back later. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Gladys is my new favorite person. That's what it's all about right there, folks. See, just be a nice guy. You get a laugh out of it. You get to have a ha-ha about all this. The world is mad enough. My words causing a big enough fucking conundrum in my life where I just like my words are what I use to be a menace. My actions are just like, you gotta balance it out. That's what I believe anyways. Is you just gotta balance out the nuttiness, because I am a little bit fucked up in the head. I know that. Because I find all of that shit that we talked about earlier funny. Is like the news is saying all these things about me. And I got Gladys over here asking if I could swing by and pick up a bag of chips for her. It makes no sense. But I certainly enjoy it. That's what I like about it. Is it's balanced out. It's a chef's kiss. You wouldn't mind swinging by and picking up a bag of chips for me, would you? Oh, what an angel. What a sweetheart. Oh, God almighty. Well, folks, thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Uncle Hack podcast. Head on over to the Patreon, patreon.com/DangerCat69. Also, those who want to send in voicemail shit, just record what you're saying and send it in, and we'll play it on the show. Something similar to Gladys. Just email it to me, unclehack@dangercats.tv. Send in whatever questions, concerns, opinions, however you please. It does not bother me. We'll listen to it. We'll talk about it. We'll bring it up. It'll be a fun new segment on the show. I know somebody just emailed me or wrote or something about they were pissed about. There was one guy that handed me a handwritten letter, and in my move, I seem to have lost it. One of the times, the first time we were out in Niagara, I can't remember. It was last year, but in my travels, I don't know where it went. I'm unsure. I think I may have lost it I don't know where it went, so I got a fucking just a nice scathing review. Well, you said you were gonna read it on the podcast. What do you want me to do? I'm a moron, all right? Tickets available at dangercatshop.com. See you next week at Thursday at 3 p.m. Mountain Standard Time.